So today we look at Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya originally was translated to abstinence. Basically, the idea is that one of the most potent energies that you have in your body is sexual energy. And it is, according to Tantra, the easiest way to get in touch with God. So if you're just like wasting it all over the place, it's hard to be in touch with God when you're busy like a rabid monkey, like or rabbit trying to you know do it all the time. So that even included for monks, that included like not having sex and not even pleasuring oneself. So at some point, the teachings of yoga went from like royalty and monks, and it started to come to the common folk, such as you and I. And one of the things that we know that's very important is like, well, we can't really all live like monks because then the world would die in, just a few generations. So there's been some ideas and transitions around Brahmacharya being moderation. And let's think about that, right? If you are a person that wastes your sexual energy on anyone that's going to pay attention to you, how is that respecting God? That's kind of the idea within yoga, right? That's not respecting yourself, and you are a creation of God. So, or we could say universe, whatever is like going to work for you, right? For you not to be triggered and be like, I'm done with this. It's disrespectful. Yet if you have a partner, according to Tantra, you can create a really strong bond and relationship with your partner and use your sexual acts to get closer to God. Because here's a question: what's like the greatest pleasure you can ever feel? I'm actually starting to realize, like, talking to people, that for some people that's not the greatest feeling they've ever had. And as I turn it over and psychoanalyze it in my head, as I do with everybody and everything, I'm starting to realize is because people have been taught that sex isn't something that is so sacred and special. And for me, even though I haven't always been the most emotional or touchy person, it is a way that I've connected on a deeper wavelength with other people. I definitely haven't just like shared it with anyone. So I can see, like, even though I have not used it in my own practice to get closer to God, I've felt some pretty divine feelings through that act. But let's just like take it away from sex and apply moderation to everything. Moderation to how you eat, like moderation in everything is good. I'm in a coaching group right now, and it's very fitness based. And one of the things that I'm seeing with that is that like there's an unhealthy like gym presence. There's a total dysmorphia of having to be more lean, more cut, look a certain way, which then becomes a lot about ego. Right? You know what you're doing when you're doing that? You're taking 10 years off your life with every cut. I'm an ER nurse. Remember that. Remember, that's the base of this. And if I see a very big, bulky, muscular guy come into the ER and he is sweating and he is gray, I already know what's going on. And any of you sweaty, muscly guys out there, you know what's going on with him too, right? A freaking heart attack, because that's what he's most at risk at 40 years of age, people. 40. So Brahmacharya, like also sitting on the couch and doing nothing, is just as equally as unhealthy. If I see a really big dude that has a lot of extra weight on him come in and he's gray, diaphoretic is what we'll say, like clammy, gray, sweaty, guess what? I'm guessing he's probably having a heart attack too. Moderation. We need to work out. We need to be healthy. Eating. Eat too much. Eat too little. But what about right in the middle? So I'm going to stop going on. I'm going to read the sutras. And the Sutra 2.38 says, by abiding in behavior that respects the divine as omnipresent, one acquires an inspired passion for life. I think the opposite is addiction. Just throwing that out there. That's what I think, like Brahmacharya is to bring us back. I do this myself, even when it comes to like work. I could just work. I fucking love it. I could be on this computer teaching all day long. And guess what? My shoulders start to hurt. My wrists can start to hurt. I start to get achy. I'm not eating well. I'm not exercising. So I need to moderate myself. But when I'm in the zone, I'm really getting a lot done. So we've got moderation. Let's look at Deborah Adele. What she says or translates Brahmacharya as is non-excess. Again, it talks about like, what does it feel like turkey dinner? Come on, you've done it, right? Maybe not turkey dinner. Maybe you don't love that, but whatever. Turkey dinner. I gotta get everything on my plate and I will eat that whole plate. And then I'm so stuffed. Excess. Whether we find ourselves overdoing food, work, exercise, or sleep, excess is often a result of forgetting the sacredness of life. It's overindulging. It goes back to the kleshas. What are they? Attachment. Attachment to feeling good. It feels so good to eat good food. But we don't live to eat. We eat to live. So why, when something good, do we just like, I gotta consume? The fourth jewel, Brahmacharya, literally means walking with God and attending to each moment as holy. That means enjoying the food, but also knowing not in excess. I just watched like Planet of the Apes, whatever this last one is that came out, and they go out and they have to get eagle eggs. And they go to grab eggs, and there's three monkeys, and then the one says, we always have to leave one. That's the rule, right? Because eventually, if they just take all the eagle eggs, there's going to be no eagles left. So she talks about like it's interpreted as celibacy or abstinence, but this really is like finding a passion for our sexuality. If you are out there in either way, a man or a woman, and you're literally just like sticking it in or letting whatever in to feel good in the moment, then how can you truly feel that passion that happens when you develop a relationship and start to know how someone feels and what they like? And even when you're getting off, the experience won't be what it can be. When you have it, when you go deeper with someone, when you love someone, when you have a deep connection with someone, go ahead and do your thing. But you definitely are losing passion for sexuality and just having sex. So as we go on, she talks about non-excess and taming our overindulgence. Attachment and overindulgence are reasons for suffering. One of our reasons for one of our five. And then aversion is also like we don't want to feel bad. So a lot of the time, if we overindulge or have excess in something, then let's just say alcohol, let's say that feels good because it's numbing. What doesn't feel good is sobering up. See how this can start to tie into creating a serious issue. In yogic thought, there is a moment in time when we reach the perfect limit of what we engaged in. For instance, if we gain vitality and energy from the food we eat, that only happens up to a point. And then we feel the opposite. If you've ever overeaten a turkey dinner, there's nothing you can do except sit on the couch and want to die because you're so full, right? Like, how is that enjoyable? And what happens is the mind will start to connect certain emotional states with certain foods and activities, just like I was talking about, which then unfortunately becomes trouble. When a certain emotional attachment is placed with a simple body need, we find ourselves in trouble. Sex, food, whatever we're talking about here. Non-excess is not about non-enjoyment. It's actually about enjoyment and pleasure to its fullest experience. Here's something that I have done. Okay. I have found like a dish that I love, and then I eat it. And then I'm like, I'm going to make that again. And then I'm going to make it again. And then I'm going to make it again. Even a song. I hear a song and I love it so much. And I'm going to listen to it. And then I'm going to listen again and listen again. And then I fucking hate the song soon enough. Non-excess isn't like also the opposite. We're finding moderation where we have perfect enjoyment, and then the next time we hear that song, it's amazing, or the next time we eat that dish, it's amazing. But if we overdo it, it's no longer amazing. This is why practices like celibacy and fasting can also be really helpful for our spiritual practice. Brahmacharya invites us to live with God in non-excess. What's happening right now with the resources of the world? It's excess. And we found out we're stealing the future from our children, and we're stealing our own futures. Seeing with the eyes of holiness shifts how we act as well as how we see. When gratitude and wonder sit in the heart, there is no need for excess. So I want you to sit with that. Sit with the idea of moderation or non-excess. And I want you to look into your life and recognize where there is excess. Can you find a place and back off? Just try and see what happens. So that's your homework for this week. All right. Thanks for listening. See you in the next video.